All right, let's talk about something really important. We're going to break down a powerful framework that's designed to stop your AI projects from failing before they even get started. It really just comes down to asking the right questions at the right time. And today, we're going to dig into exactly what those questions are.
We've all heard the horror stories, right? AI initiatives that just burn through tons of cash and time, and then, poof, they go nowhere. But what if I told you the problem usually isn't the fancy algorithm or the code itself? Nope. The real issue, the thing that sinks the ship, often happens way, way earlier.
And this right here, this is the absolute key. In the huge rush to innovate, with all the hype and the pressure to do AI, teams just jump straight into building. It's kind of like having this perfect, detailed blueprint for a sports car when what you were supposed to be building was a boat. So many projects are just doomed from the start because they skip these foundational questions. They basically bake failure right in from day one.
But hey, there is a way to avoid all this. It's called the AI go/no-go gateway. Seriously, think of it like a pre-flight inspection before you take off on this high-stakes AI journey. It's a really important part of the CPMAI methodology. That's the cognitive project management for AI, which gives you a structured, sane way to manage these super complex projects.
And look, this isn't about adding a bunch of red tape or bureaucracy. Not at all. It's about being smart and de-risking the project intelligently. The gateway just forces you to pause for a second and really evaluate the critical stuff, the things that determine if it's even feasible, before you write a single line of code or spend a single dollar on new tech.
So this gateway is broken down into 3 key areas. You've got business feasibility, data feasibility, and execution feasibility. Now, don't get me wrong, data is absolutely essential. I mean, no good data, no good AI, right? But for today, we're really going to zoom in on the 2 areas where most projects trip up right at the starting line: business and execution. In other words, is this thing even valuable, and can we actually pull it off? Okay, so let's jump into that first gateway, business feasibility. These questions are all about making sure your project has a crystal clear purpose, that the organization is actually behind it, and that it delivers real, tangible value. Honestly, if you can't get a go here, the tech really doesn't matter. This first one sounds so basic, I know, but believe me, it is the #1 trap people fall into. Having a vague goal is just a recipe for disaster. You have to know in super precise terms what problem you are actually trying to solve with AI. And here's a perfect example of what I mean. The no-go is something like, let's use AI to improve efficiency. I mean, what does that even mean? Where do you start? How do you know if you succeeded? It's a total non-starter. But the go version? Automate invoice processing to reduce data entry errors by 25%. Bam! Now that is specific, it's measurable, and it gives your whole team a clear target to shoot for. All right, next up, the next check is all about people and, well, politics. You can build the most brilliant, genius-level model in the world, but if nobody wants to use it, it's completely worthless. So you have to ask the tough question: is the organization actually ready and willing to adopt this change? So if you're getting that vibe, that skepticism from key leaders, or if there's no clear path to production, that's a massive red flag, a definite no-go. What you're looking for is a champion, and not just someone who nods and says sounds good, but someone who will actively get in there and clear the path for implementation. That's when you have a firm go. And finally, for the business side, we've got the bottom line. Does this project actually make sense financially or strategically? AI projects are investments, plain and simple, and they have to deliver some kind of return, whether that's saving money, making new money, or some other major impact. This is such a critical gut check. If the cost and the sheer effort of building the AI barely moves the needle, or if, let's be honest, a simple spreadsheet macro could do like 80% of the job for a tiny fraction of the cost, that's a hard no-go. A go is when the scales tip way over to the positive side, when you can clearly point to a positive return that makes the whole thing totally worthwhile. All right, so let's say you've passed the business gateway. The project is a fantastic idea, everyone's on board, awesome. But now we hit our second gateway, execution. Can your team actually pull this off? This is where the rubber really meets the road.
This one is that classic people and tools question. AI isn't magic, right? It needs specific platforms, the right infrastructure, and probably most importantly, people who actually know what they're doing. So, do you have what it takes to get the job done?
A definite no-go is when you look around at your team and your tech stack and you just see these massive gaps with no real plan to fill them. It's like having a race car with no tires. A go, on the other hand, means you're ready for liftoff. The skills are there, the platforms are ready, and you can actually start building.
Okay, this next check is all about performance in the real world. I mean, think about it. A model that takes 3 times to give you a prediction for something you needed in 3 seconds? Well, that's just a failure, isn't it? The question is, can your solution deliver the results in a time frame that's actually useful to the business?
So if your model needs the speed of a fighter jet, but to get it to run that fast, you'd have to do this massive multi-million-dollar overhaul of your entire infrastructure, well, that's a huge no-go. A go means you can realistically hit your performance targets without completely breaking the bank or blowing up the timeline.
And for our final check in the execution gateway, we have to look at deployment. You know, it's one thing to build a great model on a super powerful server in a lab. It's a completely different challenge to make it work where it actually needs to live, whether that's in the cloud, on a noisy factory floor, or right on someone's phone.
A classic no-go here is designing this gigantic, complex model that you then try to stuff onto a tiny, low-power device out in the field. It's just a fundamental mismatch. It's never going to work. A go means your model was designed from the very beginning with its final home in mind, making sure it's a practical, viable fit for where it's actually going to be used.
So there you have it. We've walked through the business checks, that's the should we do it, and the execution checks, the can we do it. And when you put all of these together, you don't just have a list of questions, you have a repeatable, powerful checklist for success. And here it is, the whole framework in one simple view, your 6 essential questions. Before you kick off any AI project, big or small, just run it through this checklist and be brutally honest with yourself. I promise you, this one simple exercise can literally be the difference between a huge, high-impact success and a costly, frustrating failure. And this really gets to the heart of it. Using a go, no-go gateway isn't about being scared of risk. It's the total opposite. It's about being smart enough to face the biggest risks head-on right at the beginning, when they're still small and you can actually do something about them, not after they've already grown into some project-killing monster.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question. Think about the AI ideas you're kicking around right now. Are they a clear go on all 6 of these checks, or is there a hidden no-go just waiting in the weeds, ready to derail the whole thing?